Today is a historic episode of another wrestling podcast. Joining us on today's show is a WWE Hall of Famer. He's appeared on the first episode of Raw. He's a singer, and he's also a bird lover. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the legendary Birdman, Coco Beware. Coco, thanks for joining us.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure.
How are you doing today, Coco?
Man, we're doing great. Man, I'm telling you what, it's so good to walk on top of the ground instead of the ground walking on top of you. And I tell you, man, it's just, I just feel great. I just thank the world what I've done. Thank God for what I've achieved in life. And man, I am just so happy that I'm still here. Because, a lot of us is gone now. But the Birdman is still around.
Now, you started wrestling in 1978. Is that correct?
1978. I'm originally from Union City, Tennessee. I played football there. I was one of the best nose guards that you ever laid eyes on, so they say. And I got the name Coco on the football team, and it was just something about the professional wrestling used to come in my little hometown each and every Thursday night, and I just loved it. And I just fell in love with it, and I made up my mind then. I said, I want to be a professional wrestler, and that's what I want to be. And I just go out and just wrestle different kids all up and down the neighborhood and stuff like that, man. They said, man, did this kid ever stop wrestling? I said, no, I thought the other kids would say, he just loved to wrestle all the time. And my parents, in fact, I got a lot of spanking belts and all that stuff back in the day for going out and turn up my new pants that my mother just bought and stuff like that. She said, I just bought these pair of pants and you just done tore a hole in them for wrestling going on. So it paid off in the long run. And I really thank all the fans out there that made it happen because I'm coming out from day one and way before I made it to the big time. I mean, it just there was the fans back then that supported me, and I never forgot them and stuff like that. Then I looked like I just made one step to another step, and it was just awesome how my career just started. And this is something, like I said, a lot of times you don't get to do what you want to do in life, and you have to. You start off you want to do this, and then you end up doing something else. But I ended up. This is what I wanted. I wanted to be a professional wrestler where I didn't have to work anymore. Didn't have to do this. Didn't have to get out here painting houses that I'm doing now and stuff like that. I just, I just wanted to be that sports entertainer. Mm-hmm. That I thought that they made a big fortune back in the. I mean, back in the day, I thought they really made a big fortune, but now it's just their time they're making the fortunes.
Sure. Now, Coco, man, you still travel around and wrestle for companies to this day. What are some of the biggest changes maybe you see from wrestling from when you started to maybe wrestling today?
Well, it's just everything now is stripped out and stuff like that. I mean, when I started, we had to just talk on top of our heads, just think of some things, some crazy things and stuff like that to stick to your opponent. But now, everything is okay. You got to memorize this line. Say this, stop. Keep butts in. Say this, stop. The other guy butts in. And to me, it's okay, but it's more on a Hollywood style. It's more Hollywood than, actors and stuff like that. And but we were just talent. I think professional wrestling was built on talent. Here it is that we drew 93,000 people in 1987 without the script writers. Mm-hmm. When Andre the Giant, when Hogan slammed Andre the Giant, Coco Beware the match where Bush Reed kicked the WrestleMania off. 93,000. But it was just one that Coco, you have to say this, you have to say that. We didn't have to say. We just talked about each other and went on and drew 93,000 people.
Awesome. Now, one of the biggest questions we always try to ask wrestlers are you still a fan of wrestling? Like, do you actually actively watch it today on TV or?
Yes, you know what? It's like this. I still love the business. I love it. I still love it. I wish I could still come out. You know, my wish was I would love to come out on Monday Night Raw with a nice suit on, Frankie and I just come down the aisle and just play my music and to go around to the table and dance and let the people see me around the world. You know, around the world, and then right back up the ramp and out we go. I don't want to be jumped on. I don't want to jump on nobody. Frankie don't want to be touched, and you know, we just want to just come out and let the world see the Birdman and Frankie again in a real nice. I'm talking about in a nice suit, and we all dressed up, and I'm talking about still carrying the tradition on.
Definitely. Now, did you have any favorites today that you like to watch on TV? Any current wrestlers out there that catch your eye?
Well, you know what? It's all good talent. I mean, they have really changed it around. They have some good talent, the young generation. And I would say I'm not going to knock success and anything like that. WWE, you know, they put me on the map, and you know what? And I got to keep that title that they put me on the map because I went far as I could go around Union City, Tennessee, around Memphis, Tennessee. And Memphis, Tennessee helped me a whole lot. They got me my first TV wrestling event and stuff like that. So when I got on there, and then other people began to see me, but I want to give it all to wrap it up. I want to give it all to WWE for giving me that opportunity to make it to the big time.
You were born in Tennessee. You talked about that a lot, and it's always been a hotbed for professional wrestling. We know that you were a fan of it growing up, but who were some of the people that inspired you to get into the wrestling business? Like who did you watch and say, "Man, that's I've got to be in wrestling"?
Well, back then, I'm gonna mention guys' names that you guys have probably never heard of and stuff like that, but they were local guys down here. One guy named was Al Ramsey. He was a big good guy, what they call babyface down here. Mm. And I really kind of liked his style. And there was another fellow named Jackie Fargo. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yes.
Down here in the South stuff. And they were just real good. And I just wanted to be like Fargo. And then Jerry the King Lawler. In fact, he was another one. I know you know Lawler.
Of course. Yep.
And, and so those guys was just really just caught my eye, especially Jerry, because he was like the dirty man. That Ric Flair had the dirty man. Had all the dirty tricks in the book, but Jerry Lawler had all the dirty tricks in the book, and I learned a whole lot under Jerry, and I'm really proud of Jerry. He's like a brother to me and stuff like that. He helped me out a whole lot, and my hat goes out to him. I always, no matter what, I still respect him because he helped me out a whole lot. I think I sound like a tape recorder, but it is the living truth.
Sure. Now, did anybody in your family or whatnot try to talk you out of becoming a pro wrestler?
No, because they this is something that my dad and my mother knew that this is what I wanted to do, and I got a chance to because wrestling was coming in my hometown every Thursday night, and I didn't miss a night. And I got a chance to work out. I met one of the guys, and that's where it started. And we started from there, and that's what happened. From there, it just went to different little places.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they kind of tricked me one time. I mean, one of my first wrestling events. I didn't know it, but they said I've been training for these guys for a whole year before anyone took a look at me. And I was wrestling for this in the arena, just working out and wrestling with those guys for one whole year. And then they said one night, they said, Coco, come on, go with us. We got a show in Paducah, Kentucky. I said, Paducah? Okay. I said, let me talk to my mother and father about it. They okayed it and all that. They said, now bring your stuff and all this stuff. I said, what I need to bring my stuff? He said, well, you never know. Somebody may not show up and then you might get a chance to wrestle. He said, oh my God, well, don't tell me that. So I went and got my little bag, packed it up and stuff like that. We get in the parking lot in Paducah, Kentucky. Everybody was getting their bags out, and I left my bag in the trunk. He said, Coco, what are you doing? I said, I'm just leaving my bag in here. He said, no, don't leave your bag. Bring it on inside just in case somebody don't show up. You ain't got to run back to the car. And I said, okay. So, man, I finally got in the dressing room, and I met all these big monsters. Oh, my God. I mean, this guy was incredible, man. In fact, I was just a little kid back then. I think I was like 19, 20, something like that. But it was just like, oh, my God, I couldn't believe these humongous guys. And I was sitting down, and that was my trainer always told me in the dressing room, get somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Don't say nothing. If anybody want to come over and shake your hand, they'll come over there and they'll shake your hand on their own. And I said, okay. So I sat down in the chair, didn't say a word. And then as the show was getting ready, I think it kicked off at 8 o'clock. Then the promoter came over and said, Coco. He said, are you a big shot already? Mm-hmm. I said, no, sir, I don't think so. He said, why you ask me that? He said, golly, you are on the first match. You're not going to get dressed? I said, the main eventers don't have to get dressed right now, but you're on the first match. I said, I'm not even booked on this card. He said, the hell you ain't booked. You're booked. And he showed me a poster. The Coco Kid. That's what they call me. Yeah. The Coco Kid versus the Super Destroyer on the first match.
Wow.
Man, my heart dropped.
I bet. Now, unfortunately, when you began your career during a time when race still kind of played a factor in a lot of things, did you feel that you were ever treated differently because of that, or do you feel like that everybody treated you pretty good?
Well, you know what? I never did think about anything like that because, in fact, I was raised around it, but I never did have the attitude that was going to stop me from what I wanted to be. And I just thought, hey, if I'm good enough, they can let me play on their team. And and if I just and they did. I was just so humble and stuff like that. I was just myself. I believe I did extra things to make it where I'm at today because I really trained out a whole lot. I've trained a lot to do moves and stuff like that. And I know there's some guys that don't have to train at all and reach the top. But that was those guys. I mean, I'm totally different. I wanted to be, and you know what? I had my height. What really hurt me, my height, and I really had to be outstanding to really get the people's attention. To be up on the level with Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Paul Armstrong, Ric Flair, all those guys. Hulk Hogan, to be up there with those guys, I had to be somebody real, real special. Where, man, unbelievable what this guy can do. So I had to train extra hard, and I had to pray, and I had to think about some things. And you know what? It looked like things were just falling right in place. You know, and when I came out with that Bird Buster, everybody called it the Brain Buster, but I just changed the name to a Bird Buster. Then I came out with the drop kick off the top rope and land on my feet. And because every time I would drop kick, like I see some of the guys now, they would land right flat on their back. And it was that move was hurting me more than my opponent.
Wow, yeah.
And so there was a friend of mine that had a cat, a black cat, and he was playing with the black cat. And he threw the black cat up in the air, and every time the black cat would land on 4 of his feet. And I said, and it's like something. There's your answer right there on the drop kick. If you get up there, you got to learn how to drop kick and land on your feet. And when I went over that in my training with my trainer and stuff, and we went over and over and over, and I got it down. I said, now I'm going to take it to the arena, and we're going to make this happen.
Huh.
And so far, there is no one who have drop kicked off the top rope or sack of rope and landed on their feet.
Now, Coco, a little piece of wrestling trivia out there for everybody listening. Here, you actually wrestled in the very first Scaffold match in Memphis against superstar Bill Dundee. What were your thoughts going into that kind of a match?
Well, I didn't know anything about a Scaffold match. I think Bill had several Scaffold matches. In fact, he used to be in a circus. At one time, they tell me, and he was used to the height and stuff. So he went around and asked different guys, "Hey, how about a Scaffold match? You like to be in a Scaffold match with me?" and stuff like that. And then he made it around to me for some reason and said, "Hey, Coco, would you like to be in a Scaffold match with me?" And I said, "Heck yeah." I didn't know a thing in the world about it, but we did it, and it was history was made. I was scared to death, very scared of that height because I failed, and I found it failed and stuff like that. We didn't really get hurt of it, but it was just that long fall that I knew how to fall, and golly, it was a long way. That was a long body slam.
Oh yeah.
Now, due to your, kind of creating a buzz about yourself, and a lot of people got to know you, you finally got the call from WWE. What was your reaction to that call, and why do you think that they thought that you'd be a good fit in the then WWF?
Well, at first I didn't believe that they called me. I thought the guys was rigging me because, that's when he was pulling out all the talent all over the world. And I was down in Mid-South wrestling, down in Mid-South for Bill Watts, Louisiana area and stuff. And so I got the phone call. In fact, it was Howard Finkel. Got the call. Coco Beware, Howard Finkel. I said, "What? Get out of here." I said, "Howard would call me." "Yes, I'm telling you, Coco, this is me. This is Howard Finkel from the WWE. And I was like, no way. He said, "I'll tell you what, here's my number. Get a pencil and paper, write this down, and call me right back." And I at the time, I told my wife, I said, "Can you believe that someone that's putting a prank on me about WWF coming and want me to, they're interested in me?" And so she said, well, just call him and find out. Just call the number. So I called. It was Howard again. Well, I believe you. I believe you.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
But they just saw the talent they need down in different agents and saw some talent they need down in Louisiana. They was looking at tapes. He sent a lot of agents out to different territories and go out and get the best talent that you can get, bring them back to the WWE, stuff like that. So, and that's what happened. I was shocked, but I got sick, and hey, we made it happen.
Definitely. Now, Coco, they say the best characters are just regular people with their personality turned up to 11. Is that you? Are you Coco Beware that we know?
Well, I'm the wrestler Coco Beware. I turn it off when I put my tights on, and I don't live this celebrity's life every day because I live my own. I have my own personal life, and my personal life is JW Ware, and when I'm in the ring, when I'm all full of dress, then I become Coco Beware. And, I'm that person that the people say, hey, there's Coco Beware. Golly, we just met Coco Beware. And I'm that character. And then when the lights go out, I'm back myself. I'm JW.
Okay. Well, you also got to come down to the ring for many years with Frankie, and that was something that we hadn't seen before. And then all of a sudden we saw a bunch of other wrestlers that were coming to the ring with other animals as well. We had snakes and dogs. Why do you think the WWF at the time had so many wrestlers come out with animals?
Well, I really don't know, because when I got there, I didn't know they had a snake. I didn't know they had a dog. I didn't know they had a dragon. And that was another company that Vince McMahon made. He said, oh, my God, we got another animal in the business. He said, you realize we have snakes, dogs, and Steamboat has a dragon. And now we have a bird. I didn't have no idea that they had animals in there before the time. But it was okay. I didn't have no problem with it. In fact, I loved the characters that we had. I had my character. Steamboat had his character. It was Jake the Snake. It fit him. That gimmick fit him perfect. The Bulldogs came out with Matilda, and that was that British Bulldog. I mean, they had that image. That character got over to the people. It's just something different. And I was just glad that I got a chance to. In fact, I was just a Birdman without a bird when I was down in Mid-South with Bill Watson, Memphis, Tennessee. I just had the name, but I didn't have the live macaw bird that I really, really wanted to take on the road with me. And you know what? That was our me and my wife's idea about this bird, taking this bird on the road. God bless her heart. She's going on the glory land. She died at the age of 46 with breast cancer, and I miss her every day. We was married 26 years, but she the one who helped kick this Birdman off the ground. This Birdman off the ground.
Now,
because
Sure. I was just going to say, was it hard to travel on the road with a bird?
At first it was hard because the first night that when I made the appearance in Baltimore, Maryland, I had to take the bird out with a chain around his leg because they just flew the bird in from Brazil and gave it to me at the TV show at the arena that night. And the bird was wild as heck. So Pat Patterson and I, we disassembled the cage and everything to get the bird out of the cage. So he didn't want to come out of the cage. He kept hanging on the cage. So we had to disassemble the cage. And then Pat, the thing was trying to bite Pat and trying to bite me. And Pat was going, Coco, you sure you want this bird? Oh, my God, this thing is wild. I said, Pat, I got to have him. Because if I don't have this bird, Pat, I'm a dead duck in the water. So I said, we got to have it. We got to make it work. And after the TV that night, oh man, the next day I went home and I worked with the bird and worked with him. And I said, if I have to put a chain around your leg every night at these arenas, I don't want that. I'm not going to have that. I said, because I want you to be free, and I want you to have your freedom. Let the people say, oh, my God, Coco's got him trained so well. He don't have to have a chain on his leg. His bird can just step on his perch, and he just have a great time. And so just through prayer and stuff like that, man, it made it happen where each day got better. The bird started coming out of his cage, and he started going in his cage on his own. And he learned how, okay, this is time to go. He knew when he got accustomed to everything where he knew when I started packing my bag and started putting his cage on the bed, he knew that we were getting ready to go.
That's great.
And so it made it so easy.
Well, you've had a very historic career. Obviously, you're a Hall of Famer, and you've gotten to do a whole bunch of things, go to all different kinds of places. What do you think is the most surreal moment of your career?
WrestleMania 3. It's the biggest crowd of my life, and just to go in there, and from a little small town of Union City, Tennessee, I just thought that was the greatest thing in the world.
Definitely.
And I love Madison Square Garden. I love the Boston Garden. I love the Staples Center and all those different places and stuff like that. But nothing was like WrestleMania 3.
All right. Now, Coco, when you were wrestling, you were considered a high flyer, a risk taker. What do you think about some of the moves that these wrestlers are taking these days? Is it, I don't know, too dangerous in your point of view?
Well, they're not dangerous because the moves that I was trying to take, I guess people thought that was a dangerous move, but I kind of feel I have some little aches and pains over it and stuff like that now. But I think these guys here, the young generation, they've taken it to extreme and stuff like that. And I just hope they don't get hurt. That's all. The moves are great and all that. They're fantastic. I just hope one, just don't really end up getting really hurt real bad. And I really hate that.
Now, you got to team with a lot of greats too. A lot of people may not realize that you had a great tag team career early on, and then even lasted, in the WWF. You got to team with one of our favorites, Owen Hart. Did you enjoy getting to work with Owen?
Oh, it was a pleasure to be a partner with Owen Hart, and it was a pleasure just being a part of the Hart Foundation. It's Stu Hart and Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart and the whole family. I just got a chance to just be with the whole family when I go to Canada up there, and Stu Hart just really took it, put his arms around me and showed me all the love and stuff like that. But I really missed Owen. Owen was he was a great guy, a heck of a talent and stuff like that. And I was tag team at first with a guy down here in Memphis with Bobby Eaton. He was my first tag team partner, and him and I was really outstanding. And then I got hooked up with another tag team with the Pretty Young Things, Novell Austin and Coco Beware. So he just, then come Owen Hart. I mean, just golly, my head still goes out to him, and now God bless him and his family, or God bless his family, wherever they may be at. And I just hope his kids is doing great, because Owen really loves those kids, and I know I know he hurted me when that happened. But my head still goes out and go off to him.
Now, from one Hall of Famer here, we want to know from you, do you think Owen should be inducted as well into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, yes, most definitely. But the other thing, see, this is the part I don't understand, and I don't think it's fair to the other wrestlers, that it started out all wrestlers that work for the WWE or the New York area. But now they have changed that. Anybody can be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, nothing's wrong with Snoop Dogg. I take my head off. He's a heck of a talent. But in my opinion, he has no business in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. He has no business. Pete Rose has no business in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Do the baseball players, do the NBA, or do the American League Baseball, do they put wrestlers in their Hall of Fame? No. Why should the promoters put guys who don't even have anything to do with the Wrestling Hall of Fame? That takes away from the other guys.
Definitely.
It's a Wrestling Hall of Fame, what it's supposed to be, but they turn it into just whoever.
Definitely.
I mean, I love Bob Uecker,
mm-hmm.
but he has no business in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Mike Tyson has no business. Snoop Dogg is laughing his butt to death and taking money and running with it. He's running with it. Ain't no telling what kind of payoff he got. But he's laughing. He's sitting on the couch and laughing. And, oh, my God, can y'all believe I'm in the WWE Wrestling Hall of Fame? What the hell is Snoop Dogg doing in the WWE Hall of Fame? And he's laughing about it. It's a big joke to him. That they could have called there's some more good talent out there that love to be in the Hall of Fame, that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. They may not never get the opportunity because guys like these other entertainers from another place of business that's in the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Definitely. Now, Coco, speaking of the Hall of Fame, you were inducted in 2009. What was it like for you to get that call saying that, hey, you're going into the Hall of Fame? How was it?
Well, you know what? I just said, well, I can't believe that it took them 20 years to put me in the Hall of Fame. When I said, what the heck, I'm in here now. And it was something. I think the fans, and I know normally fans don't have a whole lot to do with that. What they say they do, the fans don't know. It's voted by a committee and stuff like that, who they want to put in the Hall of Fame. But, hey, when they gave me that title, and you know what? They're gonna live up to that title, because I'm gonna be that Hall of Famer that they put me in, and I'm not gonna abuse it, and I'm not gonna let nobody else abuse the Hall of Fame. I'm a legend, Hall of Famer. You're not gonna take Michael Jordan out there on the NBA court and go against LeBron James. You're not gonna take Larry Bird to go out there and play against some of these other Kerry, you're not gonna do that. And so when you see Larry Bird, you see Michael Jordan, you see Magic Johnson, all those guys are talking, all those guys in nice suits and everything like that. That's the way the Birdman is going to be when you see the Birdman on national TV or anywhere like that. You won't see me get carried out on the stretcher where they just told the Birdman clothes off. They over eating Frankie and stuff like that. They're cooking Frankie and they done kill Coco Beware off over here. And he's laying up under the ring somewhere. I don't know. But that's not going to happen because they made me a Hall of Famer, and we're going to treat it as a Hall of Famer. I'm a legend. I am a legend to the fans, and I want to look good for the fans.
Well, we look back today. We know you're very busy, so we just have two more questions for you. As we've looked back on your career today, it's been a historic career. You've done everything that there is to do. But looking back on it, do you have any regrets personally? Is there something that you wish that you could have done that you didn't? Is there anything like that that you have about your career?
No, I mean that's something that's a choice that I made. And I was successful, and I can say that I choose that goal, but the Coco Beware name is rich. Listen to this point I'm going to say. The Coco Beware name is rich, but the wallet is broke as hell. And why? Why do I make me broke? Because I didn't make the money. I made the money, but they just didn't pay us the money that we made. We made all kinds of records there. And it didn't discriminate. It didn't pick on me because I was black and I was this. They didn't have anything to do with it. Because there was a lot of Caucasians out there with this same stuff.
Definitely.
Just a few of them got paid. And a lot of us didn't. And I achieved that goal, and I don't care how many times and Rick Flair holds that title, belts and stuff like that, but he's riding, I'm riding the Hall of Fame with Rick Flair, and it don't matter how many belts that you hold or whatever, we all in the Hall of Fame together.
Definitely.
But, having money to go get some vacations, I lost 2 homes over this business, but I still love it. I'm not knocking it. I'm not really knocking what I'm just saying. He just didn't pay everybody the same. Hulk Hogan got his money. Randy Savage, God bless his heart, he got his money. But it just wasn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm telling you, my name is known all over the world. And I thank God for it is known all over the world. I'm talking about all over England, Germany, Japan, Hong Kong, everywhere. I've been to Lebanon, Beirut, where the Americans not allowed to go, but they know me down there. Well, like I said, my name is rich. But you look at Coco Beware, I'm just telling the truth. I'm just open up telling you the truth.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm not going to get on this radio to lie for nobody. Hey, I want to thank you all, and most of all, I want to thank Eric Steele, my promoter there that works with me all the time, and he's a great guy, family man, and I love him. He got the sweetest little baby. Oh, my God. And I just thank God for him. I thank God for you guys. And just remember this, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Always say to yourself, there's nobody in the radio business is better than you guys. Mm-hmm. There's nobody in the radio. All the radio stations, we are the best radio guys in the world.
Wow. Thank you so much, Coco.
All right, my man.